call upon Dr. Bharat Kangude to please introduce Dr. Patwardhan and request him to make his address.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Nanwani ma'am. It's my great pleasure to introduce today's chief guest, Dr. Bhushan Patwardhan. For all of us, he is close to us. He is a former director of Interdisciplinary School of Health Sciences, SPPU, Pune, India. Apart from that, at present, he is vice chairman, honorable vice chairman of University Grants Commission, New Delhi. Dr. Patwardhan is a biomedical scientist who is fellow of National Academy of Sciences and National Academy of Medical Sciences, India. Currently, he is chairman, having an additional charge of Indian Council of Social Science Researches, New Delhi, and is a member of National Board of Examination. He worked as academic head of Manipal Education Group, director, Institute of Ayurvedic and Integrative Medicine, Bengaluru, vice chancellor of deemed university in Pune, and visiting professor at Indian Institute of Advanced Studies, Simla. He has worked on boards of several universities and member of important national committees of University Grants Commission, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, that is CSIR, Department of Science and Technology, Department of Biotechnology, Central Council for Research in Ayurvedic Sciences, and Indian Council of Medical Research, ICMR. He has worked on several policy making committees and task forces of National Knowledge Commission, Planning Commission, Niti Aayog, and Ministry of Ayush. He has made original contributions in evidence-based Ayurveda, especially in Ayurvedic biology, ethnopharmacology, natural product drug development, and integrative approaches to improvement in public health system. His pioneering work on novel concepts such as therapeutic adjuvants, IUSoft, IUgenomics, reverse pharmacology, network pharmacology are worldwide recognized. He is a founder, editor-in-chief of Journal of Ayurveda and Integrative Medicine, published by Elsewhere, and is on the editorial board of many reputed journals. He is recipient of many orations and awards, including Sri Ramnath Chopra Oration, Waldemar Hafkin Oration, Dr. C. Dwarkanath Oration, Dr. P.K. Devi Oration, and V.K. Zog Best Teacher Award. The World Health Organization, WHO, Geneva, has awarded him a study on the role of traditional medicine in public health. His recent scholarly books, Integrative Approaches for Human Health and Innovative Approaches to Drug Discovery, both published by academic press elsewhere, have been received excellent reviews. His World View article on predatory journals published in Nature has been widely appreciated. It is noteworthy that his 20 articles have been cited more than 100 times. He has received several research grants and has guided 20 PhD students and holds 8 Indian patents, 2 US patents with 8,500 citations. So such a stalwart and the academician of the highest stature with us as a chief guest, I welcome Dr. Patwardhan sir and request him to please enlighten us on this august occasion. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Bharat, and I must congratulate all of you, who have joined here for IQAC cluster. I want to specially recognize efforts of Professor Sanjay Kharath, because I remember some time back in a conference, I just suggested him that all India basis, there is no IQAC network existing, and that kind of a network will be very, very useful both for the colleges and universities as well as for the governments, to make a connection between these. And he followed it up, and all of you have joined hands together uh, to get this into a reality. So I congratulate all of you for this cluster. I'm sure this cluster will play an immense role in improving quality. And I was happy to listen to some of the speakers, although I was not able to listen to the whole illustrious speakers, because this is a valedictory. Many people must have contributed during earlier sessions, but I could get some insights of what Professor Bole talked about the portal. So portal itself is a great idea, and I think that portal will be uh, very important for many to get connected, to share experiences, to raise questions, to initiate debates, to store data. So many purposes that portal can serve, as well as the book which was mentioned, the capacity building, what was mentioned, is extremely important. I must tell you that IQAC cells are going to play a much stronger role in years to come, because the new National Education Policy 2020 has given major emphasis on quality, and people are now expecting, because as IQSC were in development, people were not sure what IQSCs will do. When they were established, they were not, also come from a university, so I've seen IQSC getting established and growing. But now people are convinced that IQAC have played a major role in improving quality of the university, in capacity building, in getting teachers as well as the whole university administration coming together for one purpose. And that has helped many institutions to improve their accreditation. And as we are moving ahead, the sharing of experiences is going to be very important, because the Paramarsh scheme which we conceived at the UGC, and Professor Karat and others had organized that conference on Paramarsh in Pune itself, and we could see that on a pilot scale, they were able to bring good universities with good score, with colleges, maybe with desire to get up or go up the value chain. So this kind of a mentor-mentee relationship was developed very well there. And both of them were benefited. That's what I saw when I attended that conference. I must tell you that although we may use these terms mentor and mentee, I have experienced that both benefit. It is not a one-way process. It is not that a mentor is sitting at the top somewhere and mentees are just going to receive. No, mentees also have many strengths. Mentees also have many things to share, which in turn are very useful for mentors as well. As I personally, as a teacher, I believe that teachers should not consider now teaching profession as our monopoly to teach students. Those time have passed. The teachers cannot monopolize teaching, because students are here to learn, and teachers want to teach. Teachers want to teach what they want to teach. And students have no choice. So this new education policy now is giving student-centric approach, wherein multiple entry, multiple exit, or academic credit bank like ideas have come up, wherein student is able to really design the academic courses, programs based on their own interests. While I'm saying so, when we talk about quality, the elements of education objectives, we have to keep in mind, because quality is one of them. But before quality, there are three important objectives of education, or basic elements of education. Obviously, first objective is academic. The academic objective includes intellectual strength, general knowledge, scientific temper, self-reliance, interdisciplinarity, the aptitude, independent thinking, reasoning ability, the basic capability and habit of learning. All this comes under academic objectives of education. The next objective is also very important, because without that, academic objective is not served properly. And that objective is, second objective is moral and spiritual values. It it includes emotional maturity, the ethical value systems, simple living, selfless services, humanity, the truthfulness, the dignity of labor, what Mahatma Gandhi also talked about, the high moral character, all this comes and connect with academic objective. And the third objective is also important, which is social sensitivities. And social sensibilities include national culture and heritage, tolerance for diversity, national integration, understanding rural life. Rural life is so important in India. Unless you know what happens in rural India, I don't think students or teachers can become complete in our country. And I can tell you that if we are able to really send our urban students to rural area, and if they are able to really work with farmers, they will be able to learn so many things from farmers. What is kharif, what is rabi? If Indian students don't know this, if they don't know what are the agonies of farmers, what are we doing in India? So these social sensibilities, and I can tell you that if our students get sensitized to these by direct exposure, I don't think they will get involved in any wrongdoings. They will not get involved in any kind of activities or dharnas or anything of that kind, because they have seen what is real India. They have really shared the agonies of farmers. And then irrespective of your own discipline, students or teachers will start thinking how my knowledge in my discipline I can use for betterment of life of people. How I can improve life of farmer, how I can improve life of poor villager. All these things. And same way, rural students coming to urban areas, can give them opportunity to mingle, understand what civil society, understand the new ways of life. Get better exposure to languages like English, which normally God has given intelligence all over equally. God has not made any kind of a difference. It is about opportunity. So these kinds of opportunity are connected with social sensibilities, and therefore I said that academic objectives, moral and spiritual values as objectives, and social sensibilities, when all three come together, then they connect to quality of education. So I would put quality of education as the fourth quadrant of these elements of education objectives. And quality of, when we talk about quality, UGC, as you know, has quality mandate, which has 10 verticals. And I'm not going to talk about that today, but all of you must have seen that quality mandate. And we have progressed substantially. In fact, Paramarsh is one of the quality mandate, wherein we have said that improving quality and also helping universities and colleges to improve their accreditation and their quality through mentor-mentee relationship. So all this is happening, and while all this is happening at Delhi, we also wanted some responsible agency with whom we can communicate, with whom we can make a dialogue, with whom we can share experiences both ways. We can learn from their experiences, and we can engage with them to discuss about what can be done further to improve. And so we were looking for such kind of a platform. While there are platforms like Vice Chancellor Association or associations of registrars or associations of universities like AIU, IQAC cluster, which is now playing an important role, there was no network. So I would end by again complimenting Professor Kharath and the entire team, all of you who have come together to form this network. I can assure you that your network has a great future, and your network will be extremely beneficial for teachers, students, and the whole education system for improving quality, to make it more meaningful, to make it more relevant, because relevance of education is also very, very important. And I think that the new India, what our Prime Minister talks about, new India wants to get away from the narrative which has been put on our mind and the emphasis of monocultural dominance in our mind. For years together, we have been bombarded by supremacy of a particular knowledge system, and in a process, we have been ignoring our own knowledge systems. I think that we need both. We need modern, we need ancient also. On one side, when we say that it is important to know about Galileo or Archimedes or Newton, it is equally important to know about Panini, it is equally important to know about Charak, and it is equally important to know about Kautilya. So I think this kind of a new Naya Bharat concept which is coming up, education will play an important role. And I feel that the universities of the future, universities of the future should bring this blend, the blend of modern and ancient, the blend of Gurukul and Kulaguru system, bringing best out of that. And in the whole process, IQAC cluster will play an important role. I'm not going to spend more time, but I'm going to put a link to a booklet which has been published by Vijnan Bharati and also AIU chapter in this book called Reimagining Indian Universities. And you will find reflections of some of my thoughts in this article. Please feel free to discuss and react and respond to the thoughts which have been proposed. It's not that everybody should agree to those thoughts, but together we can move ahead in the right direction to take our education to further. And I believe that whatever wrong, whatever problems our education system has faced post-independence also, we will be able to correct only with help of teachers. When teachers actually climb up the ladder from Upadhyaya to Guru, and there are several stages in between, I'm not going to discuss those stages, but you will find those stages elaborated in my article. It will happen. Teachers will be able to correct this system. Nobody else from outside can come and correct this system. Teachers will have to take this onus to correct the system. And when I say the correct the system, teachers cannot do this in isolation. Future education, future teaching, future learning will be collaborative. Students also will have to be respected equally. I learn every day from my students, even today. I think we have been undermining capabilities of students for a long time by giving them ready-made material, which led to the rote learning kind of a culture in India. I think the National Education Policy 2020 has opened up the way to change it. And as a student of biology, I must tell you that change is the only constant in this world. So let's move ahead and look forward to more interactions with IQAC cluster. And you have a huge role to play. I'm very excited with this cluster, and I can imagine the kind of power this IQAC cluster can gain together, and with dynamic young leaders like excellent comparing by Professor Bhagwanti Nanavani, and many others who are in the field. This is definitely going to be reality. Thank you very much, and all the best.